That is Jagadguru Totadarya College, Gadag, the IQAC, Department of Zoology, have organized a one-day national webinar on a very need-based topic. That's research basis for skills of expression. Two skills they have considered here. One is the presentation skill and the other is article writing skill. Professor P.G. Patil, the principal of the college, Professor H. Yamunappaji, the convener of this program, Dr. G.K. Ramesh, the IQAC coordinator, all the dignified teaching staff members of the college, the non-teaching fraternity, and all dignified participants from across the country. We all know that there are three important principles or the functions of higher education. And India is doing exceedingly well in higher education in terms of its enrollment and even in terms of its quality as well. The three important functions of higher educations are teaching, research, and extension. When we take the first important principle or the objective of higher education, teaching, it's nothing but understanding in deep the concepts or the field a student takes to study at UG and PG level, and the candidate has to do critical analysis in that particular subject, and one has to reflect also on that particular subject. So understanding, critical analysis as well as reflection are the part of higher education when teaching matters, when teaching comes into the picture. So hence, reflection is very, very important for a higher education student as well as a teacher. So how to reflect, what to reflect, and what are the dimensions of reflection we can have? That can be done very easily through two important skills, which again requires from the presenter's point of view, from the student's point of view, from the teacher's point of view. One is speaking, or else you can say the presentation. Then second thing is writing. And UGC has also made very mandatory to all the higher education students, either it may be UG students or PG students. What is that? Every student has to present few seminars in their particular courses. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಯು ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿಯಮ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. So hence presentation is very, very important. It's not just in the seminars, even in other occasions also. And teachers have to present regularly in the classroom, and sometimes they get an occasion to present their views in the seminars, conferences, symposiums. So hence presentation becomes very, very important for all the stakeholders of higher education, especially the teachers and students. Then second important part is writing article. And UGC again made it very mandatory to all the research students as well as the teachers of higher education to publish the papers, to publish the research articles in the CARE listed journals, in Scopus listed journals. So publication is also very important for the higher education stakeholders. Hence, I feel this session or the today's webinar would be very useful, not only for the students of higher education, it will be also very useful for all the teachers or the prospective teachers who want to work in the higher education in future. This session would be very much useful for them. And I take this privilege and thank the college members, management for having given me this wonderful opportunity to share my views and give you a brief gist of two important skills, that is presentation skills and article writing skills. So now I would like to present my PPT. Hope my PPT is visible to you all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, presentation skills. What is a presentation? Presentation is nothing but expressing yourself to the audience. Presentation ಅಂದ್ರೇನೆ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಒಪ್ಪಿಸುವಂತದ್ದಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನೀಡುವಂತದ್ದಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀಡುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷಣ ಆದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ನಿದರ್ಶನ ಆದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ನ ಭಾಗವಾಗಿ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣುವಂತ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆ. Then how best the presentation is related to your personality? Why the personality comes into the picture when we talk about presentation? Yes, in presentation we present our personality to the audience. Hence, presentation requires a sound personality. Whenever we present something to the audience means we present our internal elements through the external characteristics. You ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತ external characteristics ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು internal elements ಗಳಿಂದ ನೀವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the psychologist says that presentation is a form of personality expression. So hence we need to be very much clear. And what is a presentation is all about? Why this presentation is very, very important for all the stakeholders of higher education especially. And you must consider that this is something different from the normal speaking. Now normally ಮಾತಾಡೋದೇ ಬೇರೆ, presentation ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದೇ ಬೇರೆ. Though there is a lot of difference between the normal speaking with presentation. That's a one important thing we must understand. And the second thing is, in presentation we speak to the audience. Sometimes they may be known to you and sometimes they may be new to you, unknown to you. ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ they are the known audience, and sometimes if I find you here in this webinar, most of you are unknown to me or some may be known to me. So like that, when we present something means naturally the audience may be known as well as unknown. Then the third important thing is, when you present yourself to the audience, be careful, because you are presenting your own personality to them, because audience will be assessing you all the time in your presentation. How you look, how you sound, how you present your content, and what you utter, what would be your expression in that particular presentation, everything will be assessed by the audience. So hence we must be very, very careful in our presentations. And sometimes in the presentation, use the proper emotions is very, very important. Why emotions will come into the picture? Yes, we present our content with the help of emotions, in support of emotions. So hence emotions play a very, very important role, and these are the important aspects of presentation, and hence it becomes very important for every presenter to think on that particular line and make his presentation to a greater extent effectiveness. And presentation is rightly mentioned by the person who introduced. Actually, it's a skill, just like the other skills what we pursue, what we learn in our daily life, in our lifetime. Definitely the presentation is also kind of a skill which can be learned over a period of time. So normally the skills can be learned over a period of time, and we have to practice it again and again. So that's a basic, the fundamental principle we need to adopt for inculcating skill as well as transmitting those skills among the other audiences, as we can say. And it's a form of communication also, wherein we use verbal communication as well as non-verbal communication. So two forms of communication will be used in the presentation, and in totality we say it's a kind of a communication. And why we do the presentation? We do the presentation for different reasons. Sometimes if you do it for your seminar, you do it for teaching something, or else if you do it in your other platforms wherein you can transmit the information, you can share your opinions to the audience, but the time is limited for every presentation. So time plays a very important role. According to the time, we should tune our presentations so that it should not be a burden to the audiences. So time ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಅಂಡ್ most of the times we find these presentations in the classrooms, interviews, business meetings, or presentations in the committees or groups. And these are the important things we must consider. What are those? Those are the reporter's 5 questions. 5 questions will always come into the picture when a reporter questions somebody. That is who, what, when, where, and why. ಈ 5 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ಮೂಡ್ ಬರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೌಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಬಿಗಿನ್ ವಿತ್ who. Who is nothing but who are the audience. The presenter should know clearly the audience background, whether the audience are teachers, colleagues, friends, children, or it's a mixture. And sometimes you have to concentrate on their gender as well, because sometimes we use the examples which are related to females or related to males. Okay, so in such situations it is also very important to know the background of audiences. And sometimes we have to consider the gender, age, occupation, education, religion, hobbies, political beliefs, as well as the attitudes. So ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ತಯಾರಾಗಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Then second important thing is what. What is nothing but what concepts, what content or subject you are going to present to the audience. Is there really issues or the concerns? ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಅಂಶವನ್ನ ನೀವು ಬೋಧನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರೋ ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಂಶವನ್ನ ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, that is related to what. And the third important question would be when. ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Is it in the morning or is it in the afternoon session? In the morning session normally students or the audience will be very alert. ತುಂಬಾ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕುವಂತ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಲಂಚ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಸಚ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ presentations would be more beneficial. So these are the very important things we must consider for deciding our presentation. And even where we are doing it, the fourth important question, what is the venue? Is it in the auditorium or classroom or outside? Whether we are doing it through online or offline, and whether the audiences are comfortable in listening to your presentation. Is it a noisy area? So these are the elements we must consider for the fourth important question, that is where. And fifth one is why the audience are there for your presentation. Yaake audience kelak bandide, what they are expecting from you. Is it the information? Is it your views or the entertainment? ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನೀಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಯಾಕೆ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಗಮನವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟರ್ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದೀಸ್ 5 ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಮಚ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇನ್ ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೈಕ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್. Okay, if you don't follow these 5 questions in your presentation, your presentation would be something like this. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಅಧ್ವಾನ ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರದಲ್ಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ. The audience will sleep. They won't listen you at all. So don't do that. We must follow those 5 important questions for preparation. Then comes what is the structure. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ presentation ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿವೆ. It has got 3 important steps. You can consider them as the introduction, body, and conclusion. Very simple. So introduction is the basic first step of your presentation. We also call it as the opening of your presentation. Normally, in the opening of the presentation, the presenter will welcome the audience. Audience galana welcome ಮಾಡಬೇಕು and say clearly the aims and objectives of your presentation. ನೀವು ಏನನ್ನ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. And the introduction part of the presentation is almost about 10% of your time. ಟೋಟಲ್ ನಿಮಗೆ 40 ನಿಮಿಷ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 4 ನಿಮಿಷದಷ್ಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು. 3 to 4 minutes. You need to introduce clearly the objectives and aims of your presentation. Why you are there, what you want to disseminate, what you want to say, and why your presentation is important, so that you can catch the attention of the audience. The audience attention na you catch madodakke this is very very important. And sometimes you must be very humorous also. Sometimes you can use the jokes also, or you can make a provocative statement so that the audience will be very attentive towards your presentation. And next, for this, the thought provoking questions can also be asked. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳೋದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರನೂ ನೀವು ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ನ ಗ್ರಾಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Or else you can give a controversial statement also, so that they must be very aware, they must be very attentive in your presentation and listen your presentation throughout the session. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರವರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕೊಟೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೊಡಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟರ್ ಟು ಗ್ರಾಬ್ ದ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಸೇ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಶಿ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡೂ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಆಫ್ using this introduction as an important element in the presentation. And the second thing is the body, which is the biggest part. Almost 80% of the time can be utilized for the development stage. ನೀವು ಏನನ್ನ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರೋ, ಏನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರೋ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿ. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಸೀರೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ and follow one another very clearly and develop your concepts one by one. So point wise concepts galana develop ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬನ್ನಿ. Don't use too many points also, which can be a hectic element for the listeners. Be crisp, be clear, and for the development of the concept you have to use little bit more reasons out. Reasoning is very important here. Use more examples. Statistics would be very beneficial for you. Use graphs and charts, draw the comparisons, and sometimes you can quote the authorities also. So these are the things which will help a presenter to present the concept very clearly at the stage of development or body. And the very important thing one should consider is don't try to say too much things. Orally ellavanna helak hogbedi. Try to use few graphs, few pictures, few images, few animations, few videos, wherever it is possible, so that you can take little bit time as a rest you can consider. And this kind of presentation would be very beneficial for the listeners also, so that they can switch over. ನೀವು ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಇಮೇಜ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, ಆ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾದಾಗ the audience will be more attentive. If shifting of the presentation takes place in the lecturing or in presentation, means naturally the audience will be more attentive. So hence it is very important to use graphs, charts, images and videos here and there in the presentation. Then comes the third important part, conclusion. So whatever you have told till that particular time, try to conclude it. Whatever you told in the beginning, in the introduction, and whatever you developed that concept in the development stage, try to conclude the same. ಏನನ್ನ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And be clear in your conclusion. So whatever you want to say it very clearly, summarize it clearly, and after giving your conclusion, try to take the questions from the audience, answer them properly, and after answering all the questions, thank the audience. And always,
Sir, excuse me.
Yes,
Sorry for the disturbance, sir, but slides are not moving, sir. We are not getting with the slide. You are moving slides, sir.
now
No, sir. First slide is only visible, sir. Means,
okay, but I am moving the slides. I think,
but it's not moving, sir. I don't know why.
it's in
For
the first
every
slide.
minute is happening, sir.
Okay, just a minute.
Okay, sir.
Just a minute, I'll just go through again. Can you view my second slide now?
Yes, sir.
Now?
Now, yes, sir.
Okay, so which means, okay,
Okay,
I'll
thank you,
go
sir.
through, okay, I will go through with this only. The same thing what I just, sorry for this actually, there is a technical jargon.
It's okay,
So
sir.
that's what I explained actually, how personality is reflecting on the presentation and what are the important things we should consider. Yes, the 5 important WH words or questions we must consider: who, what, when, where, and why. So the structure of the presentation: introduction, I explained it. Development, yes, the series of points need to be explained clearly, present one by one. And for that, you can use different examples, quotations, statistics, comparisons, and even appeal to the reason also. And use the graphs and charts wherever it is possible. Use the videos also so that you can attract the audience very clearly and effectively. And next, conclusion part. So whatever you have told in that your presentation, try to conclude it clearly and crisply. Summarize your points, take the questions from the audience, thank the audience with a smile, and your end note should be very strong. That's very important. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಡ್ ನೋಟ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರಲಿ. ಅದು ಪ್ರೋವರ್ಬ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಲಹೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ವೆರಿ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದೆಮ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದೆಮ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್. ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟೆಲ್ ದೆಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದೆಮ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ದೆಮ್. ನೀವೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದಿರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಮರೈಸ್ ದ presentation. So these are the 3 important steps we must follow to give a effective presentation. To give that, we need to take few help also of the audio visual aids. Nowadays everybody is using PowerPoint presentations, and even the LCDs are available in most of the classrooms. So that's an important thing we must consider. So what can be done? Before using your presentations, try to practice it once beforehand. ನೀವು ಏನನ್ನ ಬಳಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೋ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಚೆಕ್ ದ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೈಟಿಂಗ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್. ಅಗೇನ್, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ಡೋಂಟ್ ಮೂವ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮುಂದೆನೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ದಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಎಟ್ ಒನ್ ಎಂಡ್. ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ದ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್. ನೀವು ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೇನೋ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತನಾಡಬಾರದು. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೂ ದಟ್. ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫೇಸ್ ದ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್. ಯಾರು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೋ ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಅಥವಾ ನೋಟ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಟು maintain that confidence, to maintain that belief, it is very essential for all the presenters to face the audience and speak clearly. That's very, very important. And slides just they are the supportive elements for the presenter. Don't depend too much on the slides. ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಇಂದನೇ ನೋಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ತರದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಕೆಲವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನಷ್ಟು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಸ್, ಇವ್ರ ಹತ್ರನೂ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡೋದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವರ ಮಾತನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಟೂ ಮಚ್ ಆನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಟೂ ಮನಿ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕೋ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ. ಐಡಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 30 ರಿಂದ 40 ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್? ದ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಕಂಟೇನ್ಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ವರ್ಡ್, which means most of the things you will explain. The slide will not explain direction, not at all. It contains more information. So keep balance on you. You should make your audience to depend on you, not on slides. So that's the reason why use less words in slides and explain more and more. That's a very important formula also. And use color and bold wherever it is necessary. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳು, ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಗಳು, ಟೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮರಸ್. Am I audible, ma'am?
Sir? Yes, now you are audible, sir.
Okay, so everything is okay now?
Yes, sir, everything is okay.
Okay, fine. So use the color and bold pictures wherever it is possible, use them so that you can explain very clearly, and even the audience will also understand in a very clear manner. And don't use too many flashy PowerPoint transitions. ತುಂಬಾ ಫ್ಲಾಶಿ ಆಗಿರುವಂತದನ್ನ ಬಳಸೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ it will distract the audience. So don't use it. And with that, use the non-verbal delivery, which is non-verbal communication. ಅಮೌಖಿಕ ಸಂವಹನ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And it is more powerful than the verbal communication. ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಬಾರಿ ನಾವು ಬಾಯ್ದರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಸದೇ ಇರುವಂತಹ ವಿಚಾರವನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸನ್ನೆಯಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌಖಿಕ ಚಹರೆಗಳಿಂದ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ಸ್ ಲೌಡರ್ ದೆನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೊವರ್ಬ್, and universally it has been accepted also. So that's the reason why we must use our body language, especially in face-to-face communication. It is very much required. What is a body language? The body language is any communication which is created by your body. ನಿಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದಿಂದ ಉಂಟಾಗುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಂವಹನ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬಾಡಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ವೆರೈಟೀಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ನಾವು ಕಣ್ಣಿನ ಸಂಪರ್ಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಕಣ್ ಸನ್ನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್, ಸನ್ನೆಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಥ್ರೂ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್, ಮುಖಭಾವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಮೌಖಿಕವಾಗಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮುಖದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ. ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್, ಭಾವಭಂಗಿಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಅಂಗವಿನ್ಯಾಸ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೇಗೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಪಾಸ್ಚರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್, ಹೌ ವಿ ಲುಕ್, ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Yes, let's see one by one. What is eye contact? We say that eyes can explain everything. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಬಾರಿ ನಾವು ಬಾಯಿಯಿಂದ ಹೇಳದೇ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಅಂಶವನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣು ಹೇಳ್ತವೆ. Because live eyes are the windows of the soul. So eyes have the power of expressing the things. The eyes can express happy, sad, scared, and even pain. So ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಮೂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೀವೋ ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೂಡನ್ನ ಕಣ್ಣುಗಳು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ eyes can also be used in our presentation very effectively. Next comes the facial expressions. ಮುಖ ಭಾವಗಳು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಮುಖದಿಂದನೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ. What we can express many things: fear, anger, disgust, joy, being neutral also, sadness and surprises. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವುಗಳನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖಚರ್ಯೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟು ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್. ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ನಗ್ತಾ ನಗ್ತಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನಗು ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳು. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ದ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಕೂಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಮೈಲಿ ಫೇಸ್ before the audience. I will show you a video also how our face can be used as an expression element. Another video there, I'll show it little bit after. Then hand gestures. We use many gestures through hands. So one of the gesture I have added here. So many can say by seeing this gesture, okay, good, superb, fantastic. So many words can be used. So without uttering a word, if you just give your gesture, that is enough for audience to understand. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಮೆನಿ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಡ್. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ರಿಲಿಜಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಬಳಸದೇ ಇರೋದು ವಾಸಿ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಲಿ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಡ್, ಯೂಸ್ ದೋಸ್ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದೋಸ್ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬ್ರಾಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ನಾವೀಗ ಬಳಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪೀಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೀಗನ್ಬೋದು, ಹ್ಯಾಂಗ್ ಲೂಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಲೂಸರ್. ಸೊ ಹೈಫೈಗೆ ಒಂದು ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ ಇದೆ, ಗುಡ್ ಜಾಬ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಲೈಕ್, bang bang. Okay, so for everything there are a lot of gestures. Even in Bharatanatyam it's a full of gestures only, and in the religions also you find a lot of gestures like Buddhist. Okay, so these gestures can be used very effectively in the presentation. And next comes the posture, how we sit, how we stand, how we hold our body in the presentation is nothing but the posture. The even the holding of that body can also explain many things, can also exhibit many things to the audience. So always it is very essential for a presenter to stand straight. When you do the normal presentation in front of the audience in the classrooms, be straight always. And good posture will always communicate confidence. That is also important thing. You posture ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ communicate ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. And here I have brought few pictures of the postures. If you, while presenting, if you cross your hands, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಇಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಓಪನ್ ಆರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಿಪ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಡೂ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್, ನೀವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ to show a particular gesture in front of the audience when you talk, when you speak. Even the sitting posture also displays something, describes something. You one kaal mele innond kaalna hakondu kutkonಡ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ closed posture ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. What it indicates? It indicates the hostility, non-friendliness, unfriendliness or anxiety ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ ಅರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ how we sit is also very important. Even how we stand. ನಾವು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತಹ ಪೋಸ್ಚರು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿನೆಸ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಗುಡ್ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್. ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ನೇರ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನವನ್ನ ಹಿಡದೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ which is an indication of the closed body. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ಏನೋ ಮುಚ್ಚಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಎದುರಿನವ್ರಿಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಭಾವನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್, ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅದು ತೋರಿಸೋದು ಭಕ್ತಿ ಅನ್ಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಜೊತೆ ಅದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್, ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ಹೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ ಸೇಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪಿಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಈವನ್ the standing posture also, if you put your hands on the hips, it shows that you are very dominant, ತುಂಬಾ ಡಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಇದು ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ನೀವು ಕೈಗಳನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಎಸ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಹೈಡ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ರಿಜಿಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಬ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಅದು ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಇಡೀ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಈ ತರದ ಪೋಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಜೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆವಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಬಲ್ಲದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ದೆನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ a research has been done on speaker's impact. ಈ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ನ ಯಾವ ಅಂಶಗಳು ಬಹಳ ರೀಚ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ಯಾವುದು ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ US ಅಲ್ಲಿ. And you believe me, 55% of the audience told that actually they like how a person looks. ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತವ್ರು ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದೇ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ. 55% ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅದೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ 38% how they sound. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು 55% ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ, ಅವ್ರ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಪದಗಳನ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ದೆನ್ 90% a person's sound and look is very important than the content ಅಂತ ಆಯ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ವಿಚ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರು ನಾವು ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕಾಣ್ತೀವಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಸೇ, ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರಂತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಗುಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್. ಯಾಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಂಡ್ರೆ, ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಂಡ್ರೆ, ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ 90% ಗೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ವಿ ನಾವು. ದೆನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಸೌಂಡ್, ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ, ನಮ್ಮ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಟೋನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಈ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ, ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು? ಹೊಸ ಬಟ್ಟೆಗಳೇ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬ್ಲೇಸರ್ಸೇ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಸೂಟೇ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕಾಣಬೇಕು? ಒನ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಲುಕ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರೋ, ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರೋ, ಆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣುವ ಹಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಉಡುಗೆ ತೊಡುಗೆಗಳು ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನಾವ್ಯಾಕೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾರ, ಅಥವಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯನಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಸ್, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ಬಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಮೂಡಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆದಂಥವ್ರು ಯಾವತ್ತು ತುಂಬಾ ಲೈವ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಬೇಕು. I will give you example also. You compare the higher education teachers with the primary school teachers. ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಎಷ್ಟು ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಗು ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರ ಟೀಚರ್ನ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಟೀಚರ್ ಏನ್ ಸಾರಿ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮಗು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ. ಒಂದು ಮಗುವೇ ತನ್ನ ಟೀಚರ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಕಲಿಯುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೈಯರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ತನಕ ಹಾಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ನೀಟ್ and look like professional. So hence it is also very important to wear neat dresses. Then comes, yes, there is an anxiety in the speech. Psychology says that anxiety will be there with the presenter always. ಈಗ ನನಗೆ 262 ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ನನಗೂ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಹೇಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಫ್ರೈಟ್. ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಭಯ, ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಭಯ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಅದು ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಗುಡ್, ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈವನ್ ಸಚಿನ್ ತೆಂಡೂಲ್ಕರ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ 400 ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಆಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್, ಡೂ ಯು ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ ದಟ್ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ? He says yes. He said yes. What the anxiety I had in my first international match, till today I maintained it, and now also I am feeling that anxiety. And he said little bit anxiety is good. Anxiety ಇದ್ರೇನೆ ನಮಗೆ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಂದ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ. ಇವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್? ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಲೆಗ್ಸ್ ಶೇಕ್. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಕರೆದು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ತಯಾರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೈಕಾಲು ಶೇಕ್ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯುವರ್ ನೀಸ್ ಗಿವ್ ಅವೇ, ಯು ಫೀಲ್ ಸಿಕ್. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆಯಿಂದ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗೇ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದಾಗ ಒಂಥರ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಎ ರ್ಯಾಪಿಡ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಬೀಟ್, ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಟಮಕ್ ಹರ್ಟ್ಸ್ and you feel hard time in breathing also. Your voice cracks sometimes. ಏನೋ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ಶೇಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯುವರ್ ಮೌತ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಡ್ರೈ, ಯು ಬಿಗಿನ್ ಟು ಸ್ವೆಟ್. ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಭಯ ಆದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ವೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಚೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಚೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇನು ಶುರು ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಬಿಗಿನ್ ಸ್ಟಟರ್, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಮರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಪದಗಳು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಟ್ವಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಜರ್ಕ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬಂದಂಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And some of the people say that they wish they were dead. ಯಾಕಾರ ಬದುಕಿದ್ವಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಭಾವನೆನೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವರ ಹತ್ರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿದೆ. And these are the things which normally we will find even in our presentations. ಎಲ್ಲರ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದಾದ್ರೂ ಎರಡಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ to overcome this, what we have to do? ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬರಲೇಬಾರದು ಅನ್ನಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಇದನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ನರ್ವ್ ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ? ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಫ್ರೈಟ್. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು, ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವರು ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓವರ್ ಎ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಯು ಲರ್ನ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಇಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ದಟ್ ಎಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಟೆಲ್ಡ್, ಲಿಟಲ್ ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಗುಡ್. Try to overcome it. Try to overcome it. You can do that. How to do? Yes, arrive early or arrange in advance. Last moment where preparation na ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಡಿ. Don't make it hurry. Otherwise, you will be in a stress. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ take your own time in making arrangements and be early to the hall also. ಹಾಲ್ಗೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕೂಲ್ ಆಗಿ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅರ್ಧದಷ್ಟು ಆಂಗ್ಸೈಟಿನ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. And the very important mantra or formula is practice, practice, practice. There is no other go. ನೀವೆಷ್ಟೇ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಬೇಕು. ವೇರ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್, ಹೌ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್? ಯು ಡೂ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ನೌ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಫೋನ್ಸ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಟೇಪ್ ಇಟ್, record your own presentation in front of the camera, and you just see how you do. If you feel that something need to be changed, you can do that. And if yavudu illa andre mirror ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ನಿಂತುಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. It is the best thing. And I would say I quote the best examples of great actors like Rajinikanth, Amitabh Bachchan. ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ನ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡಿ ಎದುರುಗಡೆ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾರಂತೆ ಒಂದ್ ಬಾರಿ. ಈವನ್ ಕಮಲ್ ಹಾಸನ್ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸರಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ. ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲಾ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳೇ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೈ ಕಾಂಟ್ ವಿ? ಸೊ ನೆವರ್ ಗೋ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ we practice it and feels that we are perfect in that presentation. And in prior, practice your visual aids also. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ವಿಜುವಲ್ ಏಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಬಳಸ್ಕೋತಿರೋ, ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ PPT ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ, LCD ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ವೆಲ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಏನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರೋ ಆ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ನ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ. ಏನ್ ತಪ್ಪೇನಲ್ಲ, ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್, ಮೀಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗ್ರೀಟ್ ದ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್. ಯಾವತ್ತು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಗ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ದೆನ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ಬ್ರೀತ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಡೀಪ್ ಬ್ರೀತ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್. ಸೊ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಬ್ರೈನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಬ್ರೀತ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್. ಪ್ರತಿ ಬಾರಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ನ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ. ನಿಮಗೂ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೆವರ್ ಶೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಬೆನ್ನನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಡೂ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಲೀವ್ ಯುವರ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಪೋಡಿಯಂ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್, ಯೂಸ್ ದೆಮ್. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಲಿ, ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಹೌ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ಸ್? ಎಸ್, ಈಟ್ ವೆಲ್. ಈಟ್ ವೆಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾನು ತಿನ್ನಬಾರದು, ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಲೈಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಫುಡ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆವಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ಲೆಂಟಿ ಆಫ್ ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ತುಂಬಾ ಅನ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ನೆಸ್, ಎಂಥೂಸಿಯಾಸಮ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್ ವೆಲ್, ಈಟ್ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ಲಿ, ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ ಪ್ಲೆಂಟಿ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಯಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳಾಗಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನ ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ತಯಾರಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ effective, no doubt about that. And the last important thing I would like to quote here is, it's very important to pay attention to even the smallest details. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಬಳಸುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪದಕ್ಕೂ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಸಣ್ಣ ಪದವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥೈಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಯೋರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. ವಿಷಯ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕಲೆ ಹಾಕಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಒಯ್ಯುವಂತಹ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿಷಯದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ to answer all those questions. So hence it is very important to give attention to even the smallest details of your presentation. And the person who fails to plan is actually planning for a failure. So hagagi failure ge plan madod beda, ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ವುಡ್ ಬಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ಸ್. ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಪೇಪರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ದ ವರ್ಬಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಾನ್ ವರ್ಬಲ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ನಿಲ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೇಗೆ ಕೂರ್ತೀವಿ, ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖಚರ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಬಿಂಬಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ be careful in understanding all those gestures and use sensibly the non-verbal cues and gestures. So content ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸಾಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾವಾಭಿನಯ, ನಮ್ಮ ಭಂಗಿಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖಚರ್ಯ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಸನ್ನೆಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ನೀಡಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಬಲ್ಲದು. So this is what the first element of my presentation, that is presentation skills. So I'll go to the next slide. Hope my slide is visible.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay. The second aspect of my presentation is article writing and plagiarism. So as I rightly mentioned in my presentation, that UGC is very keen to develop these skills to be continued with the teaching staff who are working in the higher education sector. And it is asking to write at least 2 articles in UGC care listed journals from the research scholars, and that article writing element has to be continued throughout the career of higher education teachers. So hence, it is very essential part of higher education teachers as well as researchers. So my outline of the presentation is something like this. Yes, I would like to give you a brief idea about the article, or you can consider it as a research article, and why research papers are important, which is followed by types of manuscripts, Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Now you are audible, sir.
What about the slide?
Slide is visible, sir. Outline slide is visible, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Then the checklist for paper writing also. So prior to that, I will also give you the structure of research paper. So 2 varieties of research paper we can write, the quantitative as well as the qualitative. And the checklist for paper writing, what are the important elements we have to check before sending it to the publication, and what common problems we are having in writing the manuscripts and how to overcome those problems. And at the end, I will also give you what is referencing, how citations will be done, and what is the plagiarism, how to overcome the plagiaristic act. To begin with, yes, article. Nowadays it is very common to hear the term article, because in the sphere of higher education, everybody is talking about the articles, especially the research articles or journal articles or peer reviewed articles. These terms we hear quite commonly, and there are a lot of differences between all these types of articles. Article will be written for different reasons. Some may write on primary research areas, and some may write on the different requirements. For development of a theory, article can be written. For development of a new tool, article can be written. If you have developed any new method, article can be written. And even you can present your views also through the articles. If you present your views in the article form and publish it in the journal, naturally that will be called as a journal article. And research article is a product of reporting the results. You find out something, you get the results, And based on that result, if you write an article, means naturally that will be called as a research article, and you will going to contribute your research findings to your domain of the knowledge. So that is the thing normally the research article will be expected. Why the research articles are important? This is something like this. If you won't publish, people will not be recognized. People will not recognize your. People will not come to know what is going on from your side. People will not come to know what is your field. This is something like this, unheard. Papers. And why research papers are important? There are a number of reasons for that. Nowadays, we could hear this proverb, publish or perish. If you not publish, you will perish, which means publishing is very, very important in the higher education sector. And when we publish means we have to think. So thinking leads to writing. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬರವಣಿಗೆಯೂ ಕೂಡ ಸರಳವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. When you write more papers, naturally your visibility would be high. People will recognize you, people will remember you, people will identify you in your fields. So hence writing is very important, and over a period of time it will build your reputation also. ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೆಪ್ಯುಟೇಷನ್ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ people start talking about you, people start following about you. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ good papers will always credit the author. Okay, it will give a lot of credit. And the other important thing is you can communicate clearly also what you feel, what you think, what you ideologue. So these are the things which will really helpful for an individual to communicate through the articles, and you can grow personally, you can grow professionally, and it also leads to the lifelong learning and career enhancement. ನೀವು career ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮಗೆ CAs ಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಪೇಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಈಗ ಅಷ್ಟು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಬರೀಲೇಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ನಿಯಮ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವೆಲ್ಲವುಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗಿದೆ. And through this we can serve our profession to a greater extent. And what types of manuscripts we have? There are 7 important types we find. The first one is argumentative research papers, wherein you can argue something, you can justify something, you can claim your ideas with giving specific evidences. So ಆ ತರದ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಟಿವ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪೇಪರ್, the term itself indicates analyzing something, exploring something, evaluating something. So if you give a critical interpretation on primary and secondary sources, that can also offer an analytical research paper. Then the third important type of paper is informative article or informative paper. What is that? Here you can develop a paper based on the definitions, based on the classifying examples, or based on finding out the similarities or the differences, or you can compare 2 theories or 2 people's views. So like that, if something is informative in a particular article, means such kind of articles are classified as informative articles. Then the fourth one is research papers. The term itself again indicates that it is research based. The findings of a research is very, very important for these papers, and research papers can be presented in 2 forms. One is quantitative, which means numbers, numerals are required here, and qualitative, whereas textual analysis will be done. So in most of the time, the linguistics or research papers are more qualitative in nature. Even in social sciences or anthropology or sociology, and the 5th variety is theoretical or conceptual paper, theory-based papers, which is again non-empirical work, means data you won't find here in terms of numbers, but the major issues can be considered for writing these papers. So conceptually, if you're giving any new thing to the domain, means that can be a theoretical or conceptual paper. And 6th one is position papers. Position papers will be or solutions to the field. If some problem has been arised, means you just collect few data from the ground and you want to suggest something, means in terms of its solution, that kind of a paper is position paper. And case studies, yes, a particular case will be identified. Case can be an individual as well as group members. So based on the case, if you derive something, if you elicit something, and if you want to suggest something to the field, means such kind of papers are called case studies paper. So varieties of papers are there. Each paper expects something particular from a field. And you write any kind of a paper, but these 4 stages are very, very important. What are those stages? Pre-writing, text development, revising as appropriate, final editing. Hope I am audible, madam. And even
yes, you are audible, sir.
My slide is also visible.
Yes, sir, your slide is visible, sir.
Okay, fine.
Everything is perfect.
Okay, so be careful. Take care of these 4 important steps: pre-writing, text development, revising as appropriate, and final editing. Let's begin with the first one. What is pre-writing? Before writing, we have to collect the ideas first. How we collect the ideas? Ideas will be collected through the literature. We may be having a lot of books, journals, articles, commentaries, and sometimes we can also discuss with our colleagues so that they can give important inputs for writing an article. So hence, it is very important to find the ideas. And second important thing, analyze those ideas with the periodicals. Periodicals means the journals, or you can consider them as the articles. What the earlier studies are saying about that, what the earlier articles are talking about that. So try to take those elements. The third important thing is to whom you are going to write the article is also very important. So determining your audience will help you in framing a good research article. So determine your audience to whom you are writing. Then the fourth important element is, what is the purpose of your writing? What do you want to say? What do you want to establish out of your article? What do you want to describe or justify? So that element is also very important in pre-writing stage. So decide it first. And for that, make use of good information, or you can consider it as a data. Either you have to collect the data or use the information. So by considering all these important 5 sub-stages, try to incorporate it in the pre-writing stage. Then after doing this, the second important stage is text development. You have already discussed, got the information from the different resources. You have also clearly identified why you are going to write the article and to whom you are writing. The next is, based on 5 important elements, decide your text. Try to have a good introduction. Introduction is nothing but the basic element wherein you introduce your concept to the audience. So determine a good introduction and develop a body also. Body is nothing but the heart of the article. Then write it in paragraphs first, section by section. Don't go for writing a complete article in one go. So try to determine your introduction, how it would be, what it could consider, and develop a body also. Then try to write it in the paragraphs and develop convincing conclusions. What you want to conclude, develop it, making appropriate recommendations also. What your article is going to suggest, to whom it is going to suggest, and who will be the beneficiaries of your article. So such kind of elements must be considered for writing your development stage. Third one is revising. So you have thought clearly what to write, and you have based on that developed your article also by considering so many things. And the next important stage is revise it wherever it is needed. So read it again and try to see how best you can tune it. How to do it? We can do it in many respects. The very important thing is, if you have very good colleagues in your field, at least 2 colleagues you choose and give your draft article to them so that you can seek the critics. So ಬರೆದಿರುವಂತಹ ಲೇಖನಗಳನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತೀರಾ ಹತ್ತಿರದ ಕೊಲೀಗ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೊಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಓದಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲಿ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಪಾಡುಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಂಶ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ರೀಡರ್, ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಯಾರು ಓದ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇದು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ, ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಸೈಸ್ ಟು ದ ರೀಡರ್, so that the reader can maintain the interest in reading the entire article is very important. So hagagi these are the things we must keep in mind in revising. Then the fourth important and last stage is editing. This is the final one. After this you can't do anything. Final editing alli ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, just go for proofreading. Proofreading is very important. Consider the technical correctness also. Technically, whether the article is correct, whether the article is comprised all the steps which is being prescribed by the journal. Journal ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಫಾಲೋ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ, ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, and you can do it now with the help of software. Freely available software are there in the Google, and you can use the paid version also if your institution has purchased it. So ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗಳು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಬಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಬಾರಿ ನಾವು ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತೀವಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಪೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ದ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಯು. outrightly they say tune this article by considering the grammatical aspect. So hagagi adu kuda important aspect agutte. And the very important aspect of final editing is maintaining the consistency. Let be consistent throughout the article. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ರಿಸರ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚರ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಹಾಕಿ, ಅಥವಾ ವಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹಾಕಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫೈನಲ್ ಎಡಿಟಿಂಗ್. And even after doing this, we may be having few important stages wherein we can tune our articles. How to do it? One simple mantra ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, don't worry about tight editing initially. ಒಂದೇ ಸತಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇಡೀ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡಿ. Don't do that. Write it in a draft manner. Try to tune it wherever and whenever it is required. Take the suggestions from your colleagues, again tune it, and after that let it be, keep it for few days. ನೀವು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 2-3 ದಿನ ಹಾಗೆ ಬಿಡಿ, ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದಟ್. ವೈ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಇಂಟ್ರಾಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ವಿ ಡೂ. ಸೊ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಬರೆದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು 2-3 ದಿನ ಹಾಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಹೌ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಟ್ಯೂನ್, what else I have missed, and how best I can add few more things so that I can make my article more effective and fruitful. So hagagi ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಎರರ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಫಿನಿಶ್ಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 3-4 ಡೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ನೌ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ದ 3rd and 4th ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೆಸೆಸರಿ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಬಾರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೋಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಬಾರಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರಿವ್ಯೂಸ್ ಗಳು ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಬಾರಿ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸಚ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಟ್ಯೂನ್ಡ್ ಟು ಎ ಗ್ರೇಟರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ even after completing the article writing. So settle it for 2 to 3 days, and after that you think again and try to add it. But after this your article must be ready. And what are the stages we have to follow, or what are the important steps of article writing means here we find the article title, abstract, keywords, introduction, literature review, methodology, results and discussion, conclusion, references, acknowledgements, and appendices. A normal research paper will be having these set of sub-stages. And let's see one by one. What is the article title and how it must be? Most of the journals require you to present your article title from 8 to 15 words, or in between 8 to 15 words. And some may ask you to present it in the 10 words means you have to present it in the 10 words. So Stick on to the suggestions given by individual journal. And your article title must be attractive. That is very important. Make it as attractive as possible, so that by just seeing the article, the reader should be in a position to read it. So hence, make it more attractive. You can present your article title in the form of statement, or else you can make your article title in the form of question. So the question form also you can prepare, so that the reader has to get the answer for that particular question and he has to read it. So that's how we can make our article titles more attractive. And article title must give answers to the 4 questions. What are those questions? What was researched? Must be there in the article title. How was researched? What method you followed and how you did to find that particular response or the solution. So that has to be there. With whom? Means the population and even the units of measurement also, and where, or else in what context. Means how the study was conducted, where it was conducted. So all these 4 questions must be answered in the article title. Second one, the abstract. The abstract is very important thing, because for most of the conferences and seminars, you need to present your abstract first. You need to send your abstract first. Then after that, they ask you to send your full paper. So abstract is a gist of your paper, or else you can consider it as the window display or advertisement of your paper. Just like by seeing the advertisements, we purchase the goods, we purchase the materials. So such catchy display must be there in the abstract. So naturally or normally you find the summary of the your article will be presented in 200 to 250 words. They'll ask you in particular words count, and you need to present your abstract in that particular need count only. Then Parry and et al. Has given 7 important elements of abstract. So on the abstract alli 7 elements iralebeku anta heltare. What are those elements? The element first is always start your abstract with a brief theme of sentence. ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರೀಫ್ ಥೀಮ್ ಇಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ 1 or 2 sentences must grab the attention of the audience first. Don't go directly in this paper I have tried. Many of the researchers will do that actually. Paper presenters do that actually. Don't add that actually. So always start with element 1, that is brief theme sentence of your research work. Second one, main aim of the aim or a purpose. Why you have conducted that particular research. What was the aim? Second element. Third element is the importance of your study. Why you feel that your study was so important. Present it in 1 or 2 sentences. Then the element 4 is methodology which was used in your study. Fifth element, findings of your study. Sixth element, statement of conclusions. Means what you had concluded out of your research work and how you are going to present it in your article. And you can also consider the contributions made by the study. And the last element is practical or managerial implications. The implications of your study. How your study findings would be beneficial for the different stakeholders or for the society in general. So these are the 7 important elements must be included in the abstract by considering the length of the words. Sometimes it is 200 or sometimes it is 250 words. And here an example I have brought. The title of the article is Use of Social Networks as an Education Tool. And all the 7 elements have been included here. And the important things which we must consider for writing abstracts is, please do not highlight anything like element 1, element 2, what I had done here. For everything I had added element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Don't do that actually, it is not required. Then the second important thing is, abstract is the summary of the article. After completion of your article, write the abstracts. But it will be done exactly reverse in India. Most of the authors will write the abstract, then they write the article. It's a wrong way of writing the abstract. So first complete your work, then write the abstract. And abstract is the summary of the article, and it should not be included in the main text. So whatever we add in the abstract must not be added in the article. That should not reflect. The same words, same sentences must not be there. Because after completion of article only, we write a summary of that. So hence, there should not be a replica of that actually. That's the thing. Then another important thing is the abstract will be presented in most of the time as a single paragraph. And the abstract should not contain any figures, tables, references, or any numbers. ಆ ತರದ ಯಾವ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಬೇಡಿ. ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ. Why these keywords are important? Normally, again, journal will ask you to present 3 to 4 keywords or 6 to 8 keywords. These keywords act as a hooks for drawing the attention of the readers and even locating the articles. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನ ಲೊಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಆ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್, ಸಬ್ ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ಸ್, ಥೀಮ್, ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಈವನ್ ಕಾಂಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇವೆಲ್ಲವುಗಳನ್ನ ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್. ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ the peer-reviewed journals will ask you to present in 500 to 1000 words, and it is an executive summary which includes why you have conducted that particular research work, what made you to choose that particular research work, and how the successive chapters will be there in the next pages ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. And the introduction must grab the attention of the readers. Introduction ಓದ್ರೆ ಬೋರ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಮುಂದೆ ಓದೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಬಹಳ ಕ್ಯಾಚಿ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ದ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚಿ, ಸೊ ಮೋರ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಗೇನ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ 6 elements which will help us in writing good introduction. What are those? The first one is broad theme of a topic should be there, should be stated very clearly in the introduction. Second element, academic and practical importance, why that research paper is going to be helpful in a practical sense, in academic area, has to be justified and explained properly. Then third important element is try to summarize the available literature which you have gone through, which you feel most important. Cite them here and there. Fourth one, most important gaps have to be identified. ನಿಮ್ಮ research ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಇತ್ತು, what inconsistencies you had identified, what controversies you had picked up, and how your study is going to contribute to fill that gap has to be justified in introduction. And element 5th comprises a clear indication of research problem or the research questions you have framed, specific research objectives you have to mention, the context where you have conducted the study has to be specifically described in the introduction, and how the unit of analysis have been done has to be mentioned. And the last important element is the outline of the structure of the rest of the article, which means in introduction only you have to mention in the successive elements how your research paper or the article will be going to present the views. So these are the 6 important elements. If you keep in mind, means definitely your introduction would be more catchy. Then the next stage is literature review, and literature review should answer 4 important questions again. Which aspects we have considered, and how synthesis of information is done, and how should I structure the literature review, and what would be the writing style. So 4 important questions have to be answered again by considering these things. How? Yes, the research is going to be very, very helpful for the readers when the literature review is being done correctly or specifically, because literature review will be very useful for us to fill the gaps or to mention the gaps. By seeing the literature, we will come to know what are the missing links, what all the research has been done and what all the researches needed to be done. So that gap will be identified through the literature review and highlight the main issues here, highlight the controversies here, and try to summarize and conclude what has been done and what needs to be done in future. So that element is very important for writing research article by considering the literature review. And next part is methodology. What methodology we had already adopted for conducting our research work has to be displayed, has to be described very clearly. Again, it needs to be done in 500 to 1000 words. And again, few elements are there again. The sampling has to be specified, described clearly. Please mute your mic, ma'am.
Hello everyone, please mute yourself till the end of the session.
Okay, thank you. So the things we have to consider in the methodology is the sampling, population, unit of analysis, and even the respondent's profile. And after that, we have to mention how we collected the data and what methods and measures we have applied. So these are the things need to be displayed very clearly in methodology part. And after that, discussion will be there. Here, we highlight the important things which we have derived from our research findings. Any unexpected thing or any important findings we have come across through the analysis of the data has to be displayed, has to be discussed very clearly by considering the earlier research findings. We can compare, we can contrast, we can find out the similarities also by considering the earlier researchers as well as with the present research finding. So that has to be presented in the form of findings and present the findings in orderly manner. Sometimes you may need to present your findings in headings also. If different variables are being considered, variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, like that, you can present your findings in the form of headings. And conclusion, the most important part of your article, what you are going to conclude based on the implications, based on the findings, and how best you are going to give the recommendations also. So highlight the important things which your research has got based on the findings, based on the outcomes, and indicate few limitations also. What has been missed in your research can also be considered for the conclusion, and you can also include what further research can also be done by considering the findings. So conclude your research article by highlighting your findings. Based on that, give the recommendations, significance of the outcomes, as well as discuss the limitations with future research suggestions. So those are all the things can be included in the conclusion, which is followed by the references. Nowadays, there are a lot of styles of references also. Naturally, in social sciences, the American Psychological Association form is being used, and even in sciences also. But we have a lot of varieties, like MLA is there for language, and Chicago and Harvard styles are there. And sometimes a journal will ask you to follow its own style. In that case, we have to go through very rigorously the style of references by a particular journal, and we have to tune and adjust our reference style with that. So references normally presented in the alphabetical form at the end of the article. And acknowledgements, try to acknowledge in your article at the end whether you have done your research work by taking funds from any agencies, or any collaborators were there, or any reviewers' help you had taken. Mention their names as well. And any discussion has been done to write the article, you can mention the name of that particular group, even the scholars who have participated in the discussion. So try to be generous in mentioning the names of the contributors, which might have helped you in writing a good article. And next comes the appendices. Any questionnaires or the surveys you have done, and any letters or the documents you have considered for writing the article, try to mention their names, as well as if it is provided by the online platform, mention the web link also of that particular platform. So anything can be done in the appendices. And there are steps again for qualitative research. Now I told about the quantitative, but qualitative research requires to be presented in the same form, but little bit changes are there in terms of its style of presentation, even maybe in terms of its steps of presentation. Like it has also got the statement of the research question, but here you have to provide a clear theoretical framework for framing your research questions. That is little bit different from the quantitative type of research article. And the third important stage here is again the methodology, how you have conducted the research and what previous work we have carried out or what previous work we have cited here. That has to be mentioned very clearly. And again, the participants list, participants description, research site has to be mentioned, and which is followed by the data collection procedure, normally which will be done through qualitative analysis, which may be done in terms of interviews, or which may be done in terms of focused group interaction, wherein you just collect the data in terms of texts or in terms of the answers. So such things have to be described very clearly in data collection analysis, and based on those analysis, findings will be there. So findings again, which is followed by limitations as well as the implications. So if you're writing qualitative research articles, these steps will be very good, prove to be very good for you in writing your articles. And we have a checklist also to check our paper. What are the important things we need to verify before sending it to the publication? Check whether there are any problems in the statement and objectives, whether you have framed your objectives, hypotheses, and research questions clearly. Are they in tune with the title? Whether the findings, conclusions, and recommendations stated clearly, whether the findings, conclusions, and recommendations are matching with the objectives and hypotheses or the research questions. Have you found the relationship between all these elements is very important. Then whether necessary are the significant or potentially controversial statements supported. If you have used a few controversial statements, means have you provided any support to it? Have you provided literature adequately to it? Is also very important. Check it once, and just go for finding out few weaknesses also, any mistakes in terms of the spellings, in terms of the grammar, and even the concepts and technical terms explained clearly. Verify it. Again, there is a disturbance, ma'am. Please mute your mic.
Please, participants, mute yourself till the end of a session.
Just few minutes. I'll conclude it. Just few minutes. Please bear with me. Yeah. And major points presented very clearly with the help of table or graphs, and even whether the article objectives are in tone with the journal is also be very keenly checked, and whether the title adequately describes the content, whether the headings and subheadings are consistent throughout the paper, whether each paragraph is essential, whether the content flows very clearly throughout the article, whether the pages, tables, and charts numbered clearly. Even if you miss numbering for a table, means they will reject. They will send you back the article. So hence, we must be very clear in numbering also. For all the things, even the pages, tables, and charts require to be numbered very clearly. And whether all the references necessary, check it once. Whether the quotations are correct by the original author or original thinker, verify it once again. And have you included a table of the contents clearly? And have you included the abstract and framed it clearly based on the elements? So these are the important aspects which will help definitely for a article writer to check it before sending it to the publication. So check it clearly. If you still feel that something needs to be done, change it. Otherwise, send it to the article. And the common problems, again, it's a repetition of that. some of the major problems which I have identified, because I am acting as a reviewer for level international journals. So over and over, we come across these are the things which are missing in the articles. Maybe grammatical structure may not be appropriate, or punctuation marks are not ideal, and sometimes the sentences are too long and very complicated, and sometimes the inconsistency between the headings and styles, and sometimes citational information is not correct. Even inadequate words and sentences will be added in the beginning, or it may be added in the concluding part. So that has to be removed. And many of the articles, we find that there is an overuse of articles, a and the, using it again and again. So be careful and be particular in using the articles also. Where to use and when to use, how to use, we must know very clearly. And even lack of pluralism is a big problem. Sometimes we say I, and in next para there will be we. So the reviewer will not come to know whether the article is written by one person or two persons or many persons. So like that, singular and plural inconsistencies will be there in the article. So don't do that. Okay, and that verb integrity must be maintained, and changing the tense periodically. Sometimes we start with the present tense, and in the second para there will be a past tense. So don't do that. Actually, use any of the tense, either it is past tense or present tense. So better to use the past tense, because already work has been done, and after the work only you write the article, so that you need to say this has been done, this has carried out. Okay, so past tense would be ideal form of a usage in the article writing. And the last important part is referencing. Why I am quoting here is, this is very, very important. You may write very good article. If your referencing is not good, if your article is not having, or if your article is having the plagiarism part, means definitely your article will not be allowed to publish in the journal. So it is also very important part of a paper presenter or an author to check it, whether the article is out of plagiarist act, whether I have done the referencing properly or not. So what is referencing? Referencing is an act of acknowledging the contributors or acknowledging the contribution of others. If somebody has said something, means I have to mention his research in my article, means I should give credit to that particular author. I should give credit to that particular researcher. So it is very simple as that. And why referencing is useful? Referencing will be done to acknowledge others' work. When you are using somebody's work, try to acknowledge that this work is done by somebody. Second thing, you are respecting another person's ideas, because when you are using others' ideas, means try to respect that person. So second part. So third one is, you are giving the evidence of the support to the readers also. If somebody wants to know more about that particular aspect, means he can have a view. He can visit that particular document and read it clearly, have a content it clearly. So that's also important, to provide the evidence to the readers by proper referencing. And the referencing will also help to understand the reader that you had gone a wide reading, you had visited number of resources, so that you had gained wide knowledge in that particular area, and based on that you had written an article. So the wide background reading will also be described through the referencing, and information can also be located very easily by anybody. If you provide the web link of that particular article or journal, means naturally it is possible for everyone to locate the information, to trace the information, to verify the information. So hence, these are all the reasons which will help us to provide the references in a very systematic way. And here I have brought a hierarchy of resources which we can use for writing the articles. It may be journals, textbooks, government reports, and research-backed publications, and newspapers, popular magazines, internet, leaflets and pamphlets, dictionaries, and even the personal communication. If personal communication has been done, means that can also be included in the references. And if your references list is good, if your citation is according to that, means naturally it avoids the plagiarism. Plagiarism Act is very important to be understood by all the stakeholders of higher education now. Those who want to write something, means they need to understand what is plagiarism. Because a couple of years back, one of the vice chancellor of Indian universities has lost his job from the vice chancellorship because of plagiarism. So it becomes a very serious act of offense. So please, unless and until we check it thoroughly through the software, we should not send it to the publication, because the bare responsibility of the Plagiarism Act rests with the author, not with the publisher. So ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ಲಾಜರಿಸಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಮುಂದೆ ಕಂಡು ಬಂದ್ರೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಅದನ್ನ ಟ್ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಥರ್ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೊರತು ಪಬ್ಲಿಷರ್ ಅದು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ನಾವು ತಂದ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಈಗಲೇ ಆ ಪ್ಲಾಜರಿಸಮ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪ್ಲಾಜರಿಸಮ್ ಇರ್ಲಾರ್ದಾಗೆ, ಕೃತಿ ಚೌರ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಕಳಿಸಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ಲಾಜರಿಸಮ್? It is an act of presenting the words, ideas, images, sounds, or the creative expression of others as your own. ಬೇರೆಯವರ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಬೇರೆಯವರ ಪದಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಲಿ, ವಿಚಾರಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಲಿ, ಇಮೇಜಸ್ಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೋ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಫೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಲಿ. ಒಂದು ಪೇಂಟಿಂಗು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಬಳಸ್ಕೋತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರದಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಯಾರ್ದಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆಯವರ ಜೋಬಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಹಣವನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೋಬಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಪರಾಧವೋ, ಪ್ಲಾಜಿಯರಿಸಮು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅಪರಾಧ, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅಪರಾಧ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೃತಿ ಚೌರ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್. ದೆನ್ ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾಜಿಯರಿಸಮ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅನ್ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲ್. ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ತಪ್ಪೆ, ಅನ್ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ತಪ್ಪೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಕೋಟ್ ದ ಕೊಟೇಶನ್ಸ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಪುಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡಬಲ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕಾಮಾ, ಬೇರೆಯೊಬ್ಬರ ಕೊಟೇಶನ್ ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಡಬಲ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕಾಮಾ ಹಾಕದೇನೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ದು ಅಂದಂಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಪುಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡಬಲ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕಾಮಾ, then it's an indication that it has been taken from some other sources. And paraphrasing ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಯಾರ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಆಥರ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ತೋರಿಸದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, it is a plagiarism. And using the idea without being acknowledged. ಸೊ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅಕ್ನಾಲೇಜ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ಲಾಜಿಯರಿಸಮ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಟು ಡೂ ದೆನ್? ಎಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಬೈ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಟು ದ ಆಥರ್ಸ್. ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಹಿತಿನ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ವಿಷಯ ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಯಾರಿಂದ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ನೀವು ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅದು ಪ್ಲಾಜಿಯರಿಸಮ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ನಾವು ಏನೇನು ತಗೋತೀವಿ, ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ಗಳು ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ಥಿಯರಿ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. Sometimes we take the facts, statistics, graphs, drawings, and information that is not common knowledge. Very important thing, we must understand it. There are few knowledge which is quite common. Which is our country anta kelidre, India is our country anta heltivi. Who is the father of a nation andre Mahatma Gandhi antivi. This is the common knowledge. There is no need to cite anybody for this knowledge. But any particular knowledge which has been created by or generated by a person means that is not common knowledge. So that has to be credited the author. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So common knowledge, example I told, which is not common, you have to specify the name of that particular author. So how to do it? Actually, we can do something like that. See, in 1965, Piaget has told something with his colleagues. What I'm doing here, they proposed that it is necessary to consider the child's ability to moral judgment instead of moral behavior or sentiments. So what I'm doing here, I have taken the view of Piaget et al. And saying that he and his colleagues have told something. So naturally, that sentence has been taken from Piaget et al. And I have mentioned his name as well as the year. If I do it in my article, it is a clear indication that it's not a plagiaristic act, because I have cited the name of the author as well as the year of the publication. This is how we can do in our articles. And quotations, put the double inverted comma. This quotation is given by Mark Twain in 2005. Nothing so needs reforming as other people's habits. So if you put the double inverted comma for a quotation, yes, it's out of Plagiarism Act. And this is what paraphrasing is. I have taken this paragraph from Somers. And I'm saying that Somers 2000 states that this paragraph I have taken. So it is also a good way of paraphrasing. And it will not be considered as plagiarism. And if I take a paragraph beyond 39 words, if a paragraph is there that is beyond 39 words, means I have to make it as a block quote. This is how I made. This is what black quote is. If it is more than 39 words, we call it as verbatim quoting. Verbatim quoting. And the other things, sometimes people think that actually I can use other quotations and here and there I can make few changes in the words or sentences, and can I claim it as my own? No, unless it gives a different meaning. If by just changing words or sentences, if the sentence gives the same meaning, means you have to quote the name of that particular author. You cannot claim it as yours unless it gives a different meaning. So that's the reason why wherever we have taken the views and quotations or the ideas of others, we have to credit to that particular author. And there is another important term, self-plagiarism. What is self-plagiarism? Citation without citing my own previous work in the present article. We call it as a self-plagiarism. It is also plagiarism, but nobody will claim it actually. Nobody will put you under the bar for that. But it's an indication that it may be my own idea also. If I'll cite my own ideas which have been presented in earlier days, means that has to be credited to the author, which means I should take my own credit only and say that according to Jagannath K. Dange. And you can quote your own findings for your successive papers also. If you not do it, again that will be called as self-plagiarism. So there are few softwares which are available in the market. You can go for such softwares. For individually, it may be very high for you. What I suggest to you is, even at institution level, if you can purchase these softwares, definitely these softwares will be very useful for all the writers in your institution. They can check it very easily. If it gives the minimum within that particular range of acceptance, definitely you can send your articles by going through the process of plagiarism checking. I authenticate is there, Turnitin there, and Urkund is there. Even in our university, we are using Urkund. So a lot of softwares we find nowadays in the market, which will be definitely useful for checking the plagiarism of a particular article. And one last important concept is references and bibliography. This is most of the time people consider it as synonyms. No, there is a big difference between references and bibliography. References is specifically referred or cited. Actually, whatever we cite, we have to list at the end of the references. So whatever references list we find, think that there are 25 references I have listed in the references, means all the 25 names of the authors must be cited in the content, in the text. So that's why it is called as one-to-one citation, one-to-one matching. 25 authors, all the authors must be cited in the text. But that is not case with the bibliography. In bibliography, we may feel that there are a lot of books or the resources which have helped me in understanding the concept. But I won't feel that all those resources need to be cited in the content, cited in the text. So here, all not cited, but listed. In list, you find under the heading of bibliography, but all the authors are not cited in the text. So no one-to-one matching there. So these are the few differences we find between references and bibliography. So most of the journals expect you to present your reviews in the form of references. And few journals are there, they also ask you to present in bibliography form. So it's very essential for a writer to check what steps each and specific journal is expecting you to follow. So based on the expectation of the steps, you need to follow them clearly and develop your article, and then tune it, verify it, check it from all the aspects, right from those 4 stages to the plagiarism. So after doing that, you can send your article to the journals. And here, as I told, there are a lot of options we have. Again, each journal will be expecting you to follow any one of the referencing style. American Psychological Association, Harvard, MLA, those 3 referencing styles are called as author date styles. Means you have to put author's name as well as date. Date means the year in the text citation in the bracket. For the Chicago and Oxford, it is called as documentary note style. We find the footnotes at the bottom of the page. So 2 varieties you will come to know in detail when you read all those things actually. And to sum up my presentation, to understand is hard. It's always actually, before understanding, everything looks very hard. Once one understands, action becomes so easy. So understanding and perceiving it in the right direction is very, very important. And once we do it, we will be the masters in future. So thank you very much for your patient listening. And I hope the presentation helped you in understanding the 2 important expression skills. One is the presentation skills and the other is article writing skills. Thank you very much. And if any questions are there, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for the full informative session. It is very useful in our academic and professional career. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now it is time for discussing your questions. If you have any questions, you can discuss with us, sir.
So no questions?
Sir, one
hello.
question is there, sir, in chat box.
Please,
Yeah.
please. Okay.
I have also a question. Am I audible to all?
Yeah, please, please. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Will you explain about abstract in the research paper?
Yeah.
How can we written? Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Please repeat it.
Yes, sir. Will you please explain about the abstract in brief?
So abstract. So I had
Yes, sir.
given, see, I had given 7 important elements to write the abstract. Isn't it? Okay, so just go through. I'll send you the slide, okay? Which
Okay.
comprises everything actually. We call it as a window of the article, okay? Or you can
Okay.
also consider it as the advertisement of the article, okay? Wherein you have to mention everything in 1 or 2 sentences, like the importance of your area of research, the objectives, hypothesis, what you framed, how the methodology was followed, and what tools and techniques you used, and what was the sample and population, what findings you got, and how best you conclude your research findings, and what implications you give. So these are the 7 important elements you can highlight in the abstract, and see that in how many words they ask you to do that. Whether 150 words, 200 words, or 250, it again depends on the journal's prescription.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Fine. Yes, anybody else?
So there is one question in chat box, sir. How to publish articles?
That's what I told in my presentation. See, first you identify the areas of your research work or area of presentation. Okay, what do you want to write first? It's very important. So before writing, it's very essential to identify the gaps. Why you are going to write it? What was the missing link? Okay, and through your article, you are saying something new to the audience or to the readers. And again, you have to go through the different resources. Reviews have to be done very thoroughly. You should have a sound background of that particular area so that you can elicit something out of it and try to give something new to the audience, and try to write it by applying all those 4 steps. Tune it according to the need and take the suggestions also from the experts. If you get any expert in terms of your colleagues or your teachers will help you in doing that. And check once again the important criteria which I had listed out. Then after that, check it for plagiarism also. Before sending it to the journal, it's very important. Then send it to the journal. So try to find out the suitable journal also for that. Actually, every journal will not publish all the themes articles. So for every theme, every area, separate journals will be there. So identify the proper journals, go through it, identify its stages of acceptance, rate of acceptance. Everything has to be checked very clearly. You just mail them, and sometimes some journal will ask you to pay the fee also, publication fee or the charges for reviewing process. After acceptance, you have to pay it, then they will publish your article. And most of the journals are free also nowadays. What I suggest you is go for free journals instead of paying. If you are an initial writer, okay, or a beginner in the field, so that you can gain the momentum, and later you can write good articles. Okay. Yes. Any other question?
Sir, one more question in chat box.
Yes.
At what percentage?
Yeah. See, the percentage of plagiarism varies from journal to journal, and most of the journals will ask you to go for plagiarist act below 10%. Okay, most of the time they expect you to more rigid, more clear in that particular ask. So what we can do is better to cite the names wherever it is possible, cite the authors, and the same thing has to be put in the references list. If your referencing is good, if your citation is good, definitely it reduces the plagiarist act. So that's the one thing I can say you. Then second thing, even the software will assess your plagiarist act every third word. If your every third word is similar, it will just grab that particular sentences and give the link of a particular source which is available in the internet. So what you have to do here is try to tune the sentences, try to read the original source and present it in your own sentences so that you can expect the less ratio of plagiarism. So hence reading and presenting in your own words is very, very important in reducing the percentage of plagiarism. That would help you. Okay, I think no more questions.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Fine.
What do you know?